Good morning, boys and girls of class 7. Today I am in front of you and I will be explaining to you in part 1, in part-wise, the poem, the everlasting most famous poem written by Robert Frost, Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening. Today partly I will discuss with you. Now, stopping by the woods on a snowy evening, here woods means forest or an area covered by trees. You can call it a forest. It is one of the most famous poems written by this great American poet Robert Frost. He was a American Yankee. Robert Frost has written this poem. It is one of his most famous and popular poems. Now, whatever Frost has written out here, it is coherent or coincident to our journey of life. In life, in our journey of life, as we grow up, we want to make out a career, and for that we fix a target or we have a particular objective and we move towards it gradually. One who can reach his target or aim in life, we call him or her successful, and one who fails to achieve his target or goals or aims of his life, literally we call him unsuccessful. Now, during this journey of life, a human being faces lots of temptation. There are attractions which distract ourselves from moving towards an aim. Now, if we fall prey to these temptations both materialistic things, then there are different sorts of pleasures in life by which we get very easily attracted. And if we get attracted, that may cause trouble to us during our journey of life. Because in our life, we have got certain responsibilities and duties to fulfill. We should fulfill those responsibilities and duties by giving it the first priority. We should not be swayed away by the pleasures of life. We should not take rest until we fulfill all our responsibilities and duties towards life. This story is written in all the stanzas. It has a rhyming scheme of A, A, B, B. But the last two lines has a couplet of A, B, A, B. Last two lines are a couplet. The poem, it is written into 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 quatrains, means stanzas. And now you will look at the poem. Before going to the poem, I want to say that every one of us has got some promises to keep. And in order to fulfill those promises, we have to move on. We have to carry on. We should not take rest. We should not get attracted to pleasantries and etc. We should not forget our priority in life of discharging our responsibilities and duties, because we have to make promises to keep. So, boys and girls, let's move on to the first stanza. You will see, whose woods these are, I think I know. Woods, as I told you, is a forest. The narrator, the poet, is telling whose woods these are, I think I know. Here I is a poet, the rider. Now who is this horse rider? Is a rider. This horse rider is every man, you, me, or anybody, every man. The rider. I is the rider. The rider is the every man. Now whose goods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. Now this rider was traveling on a horseback, and while traveling he came across, he was passing by a forest. While passing by a forest, he stopped for a short while. He notices a house deep down, snow covered with snowfall, because the climate is very intense, intensely cold. His house means the owner of that house in the village. Perhaps he was not there. Since he was not there, he will not see me stopping here. Since he is not there, this everyman thought, the poet thought, no one would see me, rather I will take a look around, because the poet was very fascinated by the enchanting and the beautiful look, the natural beauty. The rider stopped because he was fascinated by the enchanting beauty of nature. He stopped there. He wanted to enjoy that. To watch the woods fill up with snow. The entire area is covered with snow. The writer was attracted towards the scenic beauty. He was fascinated by the snow-covered, snow-declared house of that owner, and he thought he was not there. He wanted to take a look and forgot the Yankee mode of conduct. Since Robert Frost is an American, he is a Yankee, and he forgot, he stopped there, disregarding the Yankee mode of conduct. Now, look at the second stanza. My little horse must think it queer. He was on a horseback. Here, queer means strange. Queer means strange. So the horse was also a bit surprised, because the rider stopped there. To stop without a farmhouse near. Stop there near the house of that owner, the farmhouse. Between the woods and frozen lake, the lake waters were frozen because of the intense cold out there. All the waters are frozen to ice in the lake. The darkest evening of the year. Here, darkest means the shortest day of the year. Darkest means the shortest day of a year. So he stopped there, because darkness stopped there before darkness could prevail upon the place. He wanted to look at that place covered with snow and totally hypnotized, mesmerized, enchanted by the fascinating beauty of that area. The poet stopped there. I'll continue the next two stanzas in the second part of this poem.